assduff9. Where do you people come up with these usernames, man? Anyways, what up? Mully is back, and I've got another DPP OU match for you all today that I had back in 2013 against said username. And as I said in the last battle I uploaded, a different team will be showcased. This is actually the last team that you guys will see from all my DPP OU replays. And oh god, it's a stall team. I know you don't see anything on the screen right now, but yes, I know so many of you cannot stand this style of team, especially these days. Everyone that started competitive Pokemon in Gen 5 and onwards. But much respect to a lot of those guys though. I got no beef with nobody in the community. So, okay, a quick intro on the team. So stall teams were all about multiple hazards back in 4th gen. Since defog was so trash, it basically didn't exist. It did not do what it does now. As far as hazard removal, it did not do that. So this team still stacks multiple hazards, like many other 4th gen stall teams. But I wanted to explore the concept of only using burn as a status and not toxic. So because of this, I made this team very specially defensive because I wanted Will-O-Wisp to carry me versus physically offensive threats like Gyarados, Dragon Dance, and Choice Band Dragonite, and Tyranitar, etc., etc. The inspiration came from a throwback moveset used on Cresselia, which will get showcased a little bit in this game. And some of you that have followed me since the beginning will actually recognize this team, since I actually used a version of it in the DPP portions of Smogon Tour 17. But I have rambled way too much, so let's start. I lead off with Skarmory and Duff leads with rotom-h. There's no way I can stay in, and my best switch is Heatran, so I go to it, and Thunderbolt is going to be the leadoff move. The other reason for the switch though was to set up Stealth Rock as long as Heatran did not get tricked. I am running stall after all, so I need to get hazards up as soon as possible. Tyranitar gets revealed on the opposing team, and it's funny how this is starting out, as Skarmory is my best initial switch for Tyranitar. So I'm going to switch back hoping to set up spikes, as I am expecting Stealth Rock here, which actually turns out to be the case. And I'm just going to stick with the plan here and get my first layer of spikes down. But Duff seeing my hazard core of Skarmory and Heatran reveals Fortress to get rid of my hard work immediately. And I have to make a decision here. Do I protect my hazards now by going to a ghost, or do I think I can set them up later and prevent spikes coming down from my side? I decide the latter is better, so I show that I am carrying Taunt on Skarmory and Rapid Spin from Fori is the play. What ultimately influenced that decision is the fact that I'm not running a spinner on this team. Regardless, Duff could actually stay in here and try to stall my Spikes PP out with Rapid Spam, but he wouldn't do that. So I just spike again in his face, and I get the prediction correct as Rotom comes back in. And I was still expecting Rotom to be Choice Scarf, as I can't afford to switch to Heatran and get completely shut down. So I reveal Cresselia here. Thunderbolt is the play again though, and yes friends, this is the Psycho Shift Rest Talk Cresselia with Flame Orb. Leftovers gets shown on Rotom as well, confirming it is not Scarf. I go for Psycho Shift right off the bat, since I hadn't seen anything that was immune to burn yet, but Duff knows exactly what's up and reveals one of the most common mons in DPP OU, Heatran. But I have a plan for Heatran, otherwise there's no way I will be running this type of stall team. I make another fairly risky play by going back to my own Heatran, as nothing I've shown at this point can stand up to opposing Heatran, but I don't want to execute my plan yet until I know the entire Heatran moveset. Luckily Duff goes for Protect, and now I can threaten that my Heatran is faster and bluff the Earth Power. My opponent decides not to take the risk and reveals Blissey, and I get Stealth Rock set up again as planned. I'd say I'm in a better position now than I was a few turns ago, so I decided to actually go back to Cresselia, because Seismic Toss would not OHKO Cresselia even after Sand, and I can get a rest off to heal up since she also outspeeds Blissey as well. Wish actually ends up getting shown here, and Heatran would actually be my opponent's best play here, but I have to stick with the plan and just deal with it if Heatran comes back in. Protect actually ends up being the play, however, which gives me some breathing room. Or so I thought. I figured for some reason I could just stay in here and Sleep Talk but Duff actually takes advantage of this and goes back to Fortress. I was hoping to hit Psycho Shift here to put this thing to sleep, but I whiff, which puts me in a pretty bad spot. And despite what I said earlier about choosing to stop hazards over spin blocking, I decided to reveal Spiritomb instead, expecting a rapid spin, but Duff's plan was to just spike up all over Cress. And unfortunately, Spiritomb doesn't do any better than Cresselia against any Fortress other than a higher chance to burn it. So I show the Will-O-Wisp here, and the second layer ends up getting put down, which is pretty bad for this team, as Skarm and Cress are the only mons I have that actually avoid spikes. It gets worse from here though. Now I'm going to go back to Skarmory, likely predicting my opponent to rapid spin, expecting me to bring in Heatran so I can taunt and prevent the final layer of spikes. But the spikes come down this turn, and now Duff has a full stack of hazards and I have no way to remove them. At this point, I felt I didn't have a choice but to stay in Brave Bird, because now I'm forced to be very careful when I switch in Heatran and Spiritomb. Coupled with Burn, Skarm should be able to dent it. The damage actually shows that Fori is actually physically defensive, and Duff spins away all my hard work, so I've basically lost the hazard war. And here I just go for taunt since there was still a possibility of Toxic Spikes, but Rotom just comes back in. A very poor sequence of turns on my part, and I think it started by me just getting tunnel vision on burning Fori and or spin blocking it. So I go back to Heatran here, and the plan is to at least get Stealth Rock up and keep that up if nothing else, as I felt that's too important given the last mon hasn't been revealed yet. Heatran ends up shrugging off a Thunderbolt. I stick with the plan, hoping maybe I can get enough leftovers recovery to bring Heatran in one more time, because I am running Protect as well, but that is highly unlikely, and Heatran gets pelted with another Thunderbolt. So I show Protect here, expecting Duff to try for the KO with Thunderbolt, and I do get that right at least. Because of the leftovers recovery, I know Heatran can survive one more Thunderbolt, and I realize here that it's just going to be too hard to keep Heatran in to try and get enough health to come in again. So I just go for Lava Plume just to get damage on this Rotom for later on. I get the burn, which is pretty big, as it gives me some hope of getting back in this. So I go for Protect again just to stall it a bit longer, as I want to get as much use out of Heatran before she goes down. Blissey ends up coming back in though, and I decide now's the time to finally switch Heatran out and make it fodder for later on, as she will go down immediately upon switching. I go back to Skarm and catch a Seismic Toss coming in. The plan here is to try and use Blissey as setup fodder and spike up again. If this is the standard Wish Protect set, I know Blissey can't touch Skarmory, and there's no need to taunt. Duff going back to Heatran on the spikes kind of confirms this. Leftovers gets revealed on Heatran, and that is all the information I need to know about. So I go ahead and fodder off Heatran on the expected attack, and it turns out to be Lava Plume. And it's here that I'm going to spring the trap and use my free switch to reveal the Choice Band Doug Trio that I'm rocking. And I'm going to go ahead and lock into Earthquake immediately so I can snipe this Heatran and free up Cresselia and Spiritomb to just burn everything in their path. All this Heatran can do is Protect to delay the inevitable. The second Earthquake connects, and the biggest threat to my team is gone, which is worth Duff getting a free switch to anything that is either immune to Earthquake or can just outright tank it. Rotom ends up being the choice. I'm forced to switch out here. Of course, I decided to go back to Spiritomb and catch a Will-O-Wisp coming in. This looks bad, but I'm also running a Rest Talk set on Spiritomb. The hazards are annoying because I have to rest more than I want to, but at least I have a way of keeping Spiritomb alive. Regardless of the burn, I have to rest off the damage here, and Duff takes the chance to switch to Tyranitar. Now Skarmory is still my best switch for Tyranitar, so I'm going to go back to her, and the second move gets revealed, which turns out to be Payback. So since I've seen Stealth Rock and Payback, I'm putting my opponent on a specially defensive set. The leftovers is also pretty important, as that means Dugtrio can snipe this Tyranitar without any Shuka Berry shenanigans as well. Skarm can still be pretty useful to me, so I go ahead and roost off some of the damage I've taken. Unsurprisingly, Fori comes back in, but it's in pretty bad shape after the burn and the hazard damage. Normally I would just stay in Brave Bird, but because Fori is physically defensive, Brave Bird is not a one-hit KO, and I didn't want Fori to spin away what I had left and lose Stealth Rock for the rest of the game. As painful as it is, I go back to Spiritomb and Toxic Spikes get shown. Duff still hasn't revealed the last mon on the team either, which played a huge part in this decision. Toxic Spikes isn't too bad for my team, but is a minor annoyance that I'd rather not deal with if Duff gets 2 layers. Here I just click Sleep Talk, hoping to roll Shadow Ball, and I managed to get it off. Spiritomb outspeeding here is hilarious and confirms Duff was running the standard spread, which has 0 IVs in speed, and Rest Talk Spiritomb still runs 31 speed IVs. So Tyranitar comes back in, but I'm fairly comfortable staying in here and stalling this thing out with pressure, or at least forcing Duff to reveal another coverage move. Payback is the play, but it does nothing since Spiritomb is slower. I whiff on the Sleep Talk this time though. Since I've passed the mandatory 2-turn requirement, I go ahead and go for Rest, knowing Tomb will wake up. My opponent surprisingly pushes the issue with Tyranitar and staying into Payback again. And Duff's gonna continue to stay in Payback, and I click Sleep Talk. This time I roll a Shadow Ball and I get a special defense drop. Though, honestly, I was glad to take the Shadow Ball without the special defense drop anyway, as damage is damage at this point. And I think Duff was just waiting for my whole moveset to be revealed here, as now Tyranitar finally comes out and Blissey comes back in, since it's confirmed she is safe against Spiritomb. Ironically, I roll a Rest here on the Sleep Talk, which isn't exactly bad, though Will-O-Wisp would have been nice. So I just decide to just go for the burn on the Wake Up here instead, and Blissey's just gonna wish up. Now, at this point, I pretty much have to click Shadow Ball, knowing Blissey is immune because of the chance to catch something coming back in to take advantage of the wish and heal up. And I'm actually going to get rewarded here as Duff tries to sneak Rotom back in, and it gets knocked out by the Shadow Ball, and Wish gets no value. So Blissey is going to end up coming back in here, taking more hazard damage, and now I'm going to decide to Will-O-Wisp on the Wish. So I'm starting to get the advantage back here. Now, since Spiritomb can't do anything else to Blissey, I'm actually going to go back to Skarmory here, just so I can either do some taunt shenanigans or get some more layers of spikes down. Now, curiously, Duff goes for Protect here. And in hindsight, Protect may have been the best play if Duff was trying to conserve PP on Toxic, as it doesn't do much to anything on this team except Dugtrio, and Toxic Spikes are already down. And here Duff tries to wish again, but I am ready with the taunt to block it. And it's at this point that Duff is actually going to forfeit the match. And the forfeit seemed like it was too early. Maybe the last Mon couldn't handle what I had shown already, but it had to be some sort of revenge killer given the rest of the team makeup. So Duff was essentially running stall as well. This was stall versus stall. Something with Choice Scarf probably that could clean things up was probably the last Mon on Duff's team. It did seem like my opponent was kind of running out of gas given the plays made on the last couple of turns as well. I don't know. Well, anyway, I hope you guys still enjoy. If you guys like what you saw, hit the like button just below the video. If you didn't like it, then hit the dislike button, but at least let me know in the comments as to why, so I can see what I can do better. If you don't want to miss the future stuff on the horizon, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Links to all the social clubs I hang out at are in the description box below. Twitter, Google+, Twitch, etc., etc. And stay tuned for more. And until next time, Mulligan is signing out. You guys take care. Peace.